Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, here back with a Qitari, where we want to see what we find next. What ails the forest? Squeak? The great serpent lets out a high-pitched squeal. It appears to be feeling anxious about something. Speak with Cottle and see how the excavation effort fares. Welcome back. The Stopple's feeling more comfortable than ever thanks to all those helpful supplies you and your friends from Silverbow brought to us. Father and I have also gone diving into the depths below some 20 times now, and you won't believe all we found. Indeed, my boy. Perhaps the most important discovery of all was that of relics and records confirming the interpretation of history engraved on the newly restored Third Stella. During the Age of Famine, the catfish people were driven from the forest by our ancestors who sought to protect the fishing grounds that were their most important source of nourishment. After this, no records or remnants of them were found in any of the lands ruled by the Ronkan Empire. While it's possible that survivors and their descendants lived on outside Northrend, it's all but impossible that they could have survived the flood of light. Thus we can safely say that the race is essentially extinct. Poor catfish people, I would have shared my food with you. At any rate, we have explored all there is to explore on the third stratum, meaning it is time we ventured further below. Unfortunately, we find ourselves in a bit of a bind. My most trusted scout, Toval Manol, has yet to make a full recovery from her ailment. On the contrary, others here in Mestopol have been suffering from similarly unpleasant symptoms, even those who did not accompany Toval on her expedition below. I must say I find myself quite at a loss. Might you be so kind as to accompany me as I look into the matter, Serenia? Toval was on the verge of making a full recovery when her condition took a sudden turn for the worse, and it pains me to say she is not the only one so afflicted. The symptoms were mild at first, but in no time their fevers flared up, the pain and dizziness so severe that they cannot even rise to their feet. The medicine that Master Quinford brought from Fano has served to ease their discomfort somewhat, but with more of us being stricken by the day and their condition ever worsening, I fear it will not be long until we exhaust our supply. I'm loath to impose upon your generosity once more, but might you be willing to go back and procure another batch from our friends? Surely you will take pity on our plight. Forgive me for not being able to travel with you, Serenia. I must stay here and help Father tend to the sick. And that is to... just to funnel? Okay. This is most distressing news. Rest assured that we need not stand idly by as our Qitari friends suffer. If our remedies may serve them well, I'm happy to provide you with as much as you need. That said... To tell the truth, a similar malady to the one of which you speak has come to Fano as well. But only a few have taken ill thus far. I must say this does not bode well. Now that you mention it, a traveling merchant from Silverbow who sojourned here just a few days ago had a similar tale to tell. Whatever this affliction is, I fear it seems to be spreading. Qitari, Viis, and humans alike, all stricken by a mysterious plague that spreads in the blink of an eye. In all the years I have lived, never ever heard of such a thing. I hope I'm mistaken, but my instincts tell me this is no common chill. I fear that the medicine I gave you will offer little more than a momentary reprieve from the pain. Do not say such things, Master Lanier. This lack of confidence ill befits you. Though it pains me, I suppose there's little we can do but ease their suffering as best we can until we determine what has caused this. Pray deliver medicine to young Chakal and the ailing Qitari. Should our efforts to find a cure bear fruit, we shall send word at once. Serenia, did you bring the medicine from Fano? Oh, thank you. Your benevolence no snowbounds, but just look, whatever am I to do? Not long after you left, father suffered a terrible coughing fit. He has not gotten out of bed since, and one by one the others have joined him. Father believes that there's a chance we brought some ancient pox back with us from the ruins beneath a stubble, or that we ourselves have spread this disease in traveling to these parts from our former home. But as to the truth, we cannot... My friends, are you all here? I bring most grievous tidings from Silverbow. It's Valan, he's taken ill with a plague. He exercised the utmost caution intending to poor Torval, but to no avail, for the disease has stricken him too, and with great vengeance. Master Valan too? Indeed, I fear it's none other than he who, albeit unwittingly, carried the pox back to Silverbow. Is it true that the Viis of Fano too suffer from this frightful affliction? A great plague threatens to claim the lives of all who call the Greatwood home. I shudder at the thought. We have no choice. From today, all Qitari who still stand will devote every waking moment to investigating this disease. Yes, in Father's name, I hereby suspend the excavation effort and... Squee, squee, squee! The great serpent, it speaks. By gods ancient and true. Put away not your shovels and spades, young Jakal. The excavation must go on, for verily so spake the divine protector of Ronka. Aye, many a prayer have I offered to the great Serp on behalf of the ailing, and today my prayers have been heard. Through me, Dwartle's own blood, the divine protector shall lead you to a cure for this frightful plague. Trust in it, in me, and the suffering of our people will soon come to an end. Whee! Master Kinford, oh great serpent of Ronka, of course you speak true. If Father is right and the Qitari are responsible for the spread of the disease, then the answer we seek might yet be found along with the undiscovered Stella. After all, if this is indeed some ancient pox, it stands to reason that our forefathers left behind some records of it. A record that may well shed light upon its cause and its cure. With poor Father bedridden, it falls to me to carry on the dig. I will find the Stella and save our people, even if I must do it alone. Your bravery is most admirable, young Chakal, and yet, even with a divine protector watching over you, are the tunnels not too dangerous for a child? I'm no child, Master Kinford. I lived 3 whole years, and in just recent days have accompanied Father into the depths time and again. No one is better prepared to search for Stella than me. Chakal can do it. Oh, thank you, Sonia. A vote of confidence from you means the world to me. Mark my words, I will get to the bottom of this. Such courageous words spoken from among so young. Chakal Kotl, you truly are a shining example for all our people. Worry not for your dear father. Serenia and I will see that he wants for nothing while you're exploring down below. Go in safety and know that we pray for your success. It's not simply for the future of my fellow Qitari that I must find the next Stellar. It's for father, for Valan, for the Viis who suffer in Fano, for all those who call Raktika home. I must succeed. Let the excavation begin. Later. Safe returned, but he doesn't look happy. You return, my young friend. Thanks be to the great sub. What's this? Do mine eyes deceive me? You return alone? Indeed. In all our previous excavations and Avatar of a Great Serpent, clad in a suit of armor arrived to welcome father and I to the Stellar's resting place. This time there was none to be found. Inconceivable. The Great Serpent forsaking a descendant of Ronka in their time of need? Indubitably, the Divine Protector moves in mysterious ways. But worry not, my friends, for I was able to locate the fourth Stellar myself. And thanks be to the Divine Protector, there was barely a scratch or scrap on it. Yes, using the tools and techniques you have supplied to us, I do believe we will be able to raise it to the surface in pristine condition. Remarkable. Truly, you are a paragon of Ronkan industriousness and ingenuity. Now do tell, did the stone provide any insight that might help us fend off a plague? Oh, Master Queenford, you will see for yourself once we raise it to the surface. But let me tell you what I saw with my own eyes. Pictured providently in the center was none other than the Great Serpent itself. Atop its head sat a gloriously large and fluffy green mass. Before the serpent, a man in Ronkan garb raised his hands in sheer jubilation. Glorious, this incontrovertible truth that the Divine Protector guided our ancestors to enlightenment, just as it guided us today. Sadly, Father is in no condition to share with us his thoughts in the carvings. But no matter, with the Stellar in immaculate condition, I'm confident that my interpretation is the correct one. Yes, there can be no doubting it. With a mighty scream, the Great Serpent did bestow upon the Ronkan people a giant tuft of grass-green fluff which cured them of a dreadful pox. No doubt it is to guide us to this very knowledge, the cure it will save our people, that the Great Serpent appeared before me. Glory be to the Scree. Truly, the Great Serpent works in mysterious ways, but there can be no doubting that what happened to you today was none other than a divine miracle. If I might be so bold as to expand upon your insight, young Shakal, I believe I can identify precisely that miraculous object which the serpent did carry on his blessed pate. Verily, this can be none other than the greatest blessing of Raktika, Ronkan moss, which grows so verdant and lush in our forest home. If I recall from my studies, Ronkan moss can be harvested from numerous sources, but in particular certain species of tree found in the husk upon which it grows in great abundance. Serenia, ally of Ronka, you have my word that this is the last time I will impose upon you. Might you be so kind as to go forth in search of a moss that will save my people? Splendid, and I, young Shakal, will make for funnel. The Viis will doubtless have insight to share on how to brew the moss into a proper elixir. I'm deeply obliged to you, my friends. I will tend to Father and pray that his condition has not worsened in the meantime. Until we meet again. Okay, little friend, I brought some high-quality boggy bark. Splendid! Splendiferous! Why, it looks just as it did on the Stella. We must prepare the medicine at once. Following the method illustrated by the carvings on the fourth stela, the stewards brewed an elixir from the Roncan moss and distributed it to their ailing friends. Before long, the symptoms eased and a brighter mood returned to the stopple. No longer lacking for manpower, Chakal Cottle and his friends built a workshop where the medicine could be produced in large quantities to be distributed across the Greatwood. Later, reports said that our friends in Sliverbow and Fano are well on their way to making a complete recovery. All of Raktika truly is in your debt, Serenia. I have no words to express my gratitude. You have my gratitude as well, Serenia. And we must not forget the great serpent who guided us to the cure. Speaking of which, where did it go? It's not our place to question the workings of a divine, my boy. No doubt it felt its role here was done, and returned to a place where only the gods know. Does that mean I never see it again? Did I hear what I think I heard? The serpent returns to us. Or perhaps it was watching over us from behind the stela all along. Doubtless so, Chakal. Indeed, the great serpent truly does work in mysterious ways. And so it was that the Qitari reclaimed the history and knowledge of their forefathers, and in so doing played their role in returning peace to the Greatwood, just as foreseen by a certain prognosticating priest. All was according to the Great Serpent's plan. Or was it? Aserenia, I cannot thank you enough for all you have done on behalf of my boy. No, on behalf of all the stewards. You'll be pleased to know we have succeeded in producing the mossy brew in large quantities. Any fear of a plague sweeping through the Greatwood are well behind us. Did we ever find out what caused the disease, Father? It is difficult to say for certain, but I do have a theory. Plants, blossoms, and trees abound in the Greatwood, all possessing their own seeds and spores, some of which can be quite poisonous. Lesser poisons exist as well. In that case, one might build up an immunity if one lives for long enough in their presence. At the same time, different areas of the wood are home to different flora, each bearing their own poisons. And so, living for 100 years far away from this place, you say we have a different immunities than our friends in Sliverbow and Fano? Precisely, my boy. More precisely, we carry an element of a poison within us, and it is this which protects us from their harmful effects. The downside, of course, is quite clear. When the poisons are carried to a new place, where others are not accustomed to them, the self-same thing that protects us from their effects can have harmful effects on others, just as the poisons our own bodies are unaccustomed to can harm us. So, the sickness, it was all our fault for coming here? Perhaps, and perhaps not. We're not the only ones who traveled here when the path through the river was opened. We Qitari, the creatures from the forest we saw on our way, doubtless the spread of the pox was inevitable. And besides, in coming here we have rediscovered a powerful elixir fashioned by our forefathers, one that we might use to prevent any further outbreaks of disease among those who call the Greatwood home. Looking back, I suspect that matters such as these were a source of great consternation in the days of the Empire, and peoples moved about the Greatwood often and in droves. No doubt this is why it was the Ronkans who discovered the cure, with the guidance of their divine protector, of course. The same divine protector who remembered well the events of those days, and who led us back to the remedy it had shared with our forefathers so many years ago. The fourth Stella has been reclaimed, and with it another piece of our heritage. And yet, the Qitari did not do this alone. You, ally of Ronka, your friends Qinfort and Valan, our loyal allies among the Viis, all played a part in making this day happen. Given our people's mutual histories, it is perhaps fitting, wouldn't you say, Jackal? Indubitably. At long last, I understand how people must have felt in the days of Ronka, when our peoples cooperated and lived together in a great civilization. The wisdom of our forefathers has saved us today, but we must not rest easy. We must continue to learn and record our experiences, but our own wisdom might serve those who follow in our footsteps. There's still much that I would study as well. Pray come back to visit us, my friends. I would be happy to share with you all the wonderful things I'm sure to learn. After all, while the serpent with the hat has gone off somewhere, the helmet one remains with us. Surely this is a sign there's still much to explore in the tunnels below. After all, why would it remain with us if there were no additional pathways and passages through which it seeks to guide us? Oh, I can hardly wait to see what may yet be unearthed. Reputation has increased to Sworn. So this isn't quite the end. If this is like previous Beast Tribe quests, there will be one more step where we basically celebrate the end. This is a rather short one usually. Until next time.